Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you, everyone. You're quite right, actually, Simon. It has been a bit of an adventure, actually, and I'll allude to that in a moment. My talk isn't necessarily about Indiana Jones, which you may or may not be able to see on the slide there, but the reason for placing that image there is the title of my talk is Active Learning Experiments Using Screen Mirroring Technology. I've used the word experiments, but it really has been an adventure using screen mirroring technology. I kind of feel like I've waded or hacked my way through a jungle of all these different types of screen mirroring technology, and hopefully my talk today will provide some insights into screen mirroring technology and the most appropriate technology perhaps that we can use in our learning environments. Before I talk about screen mirroring technology, I would like to give you an overview of my experiments or adventures in flipped learning. A number of years ago, or nearly 10 years ago now, I experimented with flipped learning. Now, the traditional definition, I guess, today of flipped learning is when you flip all the material outside of the learning environment and then you focus on various activities to cover the concepts within the lecture or tutorial. Well, I tried that, and what I found was that only about a quarter of the students actually sustained engagement. It was successful to a degree, but the feedback I got from the students is that they wanted to be guided through the key concepts from undergrads and from postgrads, particularly part-time postgrads as well. The feedback I got was they didn't necessarily have the time to actually go through the videos or the articles or papers to actually cover the concepts before actually attending the classes. So as a result of that feedback, what I decided to do was to inflip, or to flip the learning material inside to the students. So all I did was I used active learning methods to get the students to do the research, to discuss the research, to feed back to myself, to collaborate, to discuss, and then do an activity based on that concept. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment because it relates to how I've been using screen mirroring technology. But what I found using this flipped-in approach is that it proved very effective in creating a more open, social, collaborative environment. The students were a lot more engaged with the learning activities. And it definitely increased student engagement, it increased student satisfaction and performance as well. So this slide provides an overview of some of the most common activity-based learning methods that I use. So first of all, for example, in some of my classes, when I use Moodle, my slides are on Moodle, my slides will simply clearly outline and structure learning activities, supporting content, some small videos I've either sourced online or produced myself. But what the first activity is commonly known as e-discovery, electronic discovery activity, or online inquiry-based learning. And all I do is the concept that I might want to cover for that class, I'll ask the students to do some research using their PCs, if in the lab, or tablet or laptop computer, if we're in the lab or seminar, tutorial or lecture room. So I'm getting the students actively engaged, actively researching. Now what they do at this point is I ask them to create a document, a working document in the module. So all of the key findings that they discover during this activity, they make a note of using their cloud-based document. It could be iCloud, Office Online, it could be Google Drive. But what this working document does is that it builds up throughout the module so that they've actually got cumulative effects, so more and more information that they can use for their summative assessments, whether it's assignment, exam notes, or slides. So the students are doing the researching. They'll make a note of the salient findings, the important findings. The next step, I'll get them to share it, so I'll get them to discuss it. So that's step two. So commonly known as participative or discussion-based learning, I ask the students to share what they found. We discuss it as a group. I find that when students share, it kind of creates a bit of a cultural shift. So the class becomes a bit more alive. They compare notes, they're sharing their findings, it's enhancing their learning and understanding, getting different perspectives from different students. Now, what I wanted to do for this part of my learning activity is I wanted to test to see if screen mirroring technology could be used to facilitate that, to facilitate the sharing of the students' findings. Now then, following on from that, it doesn't really take too much long, it might be half the class, then I'll do a practical activity. Now, it depends on the module I'm teaching. So the practical activity relates to the concept that I've covered, or the research activity. So it could be coding, it could be using technology. If it's a more humanity-based subject that I'm teaching, it could be analysing a case study, applying a model. And again, what I wanted to do was when the students have, during and when they've completed this activity, I want them to share the problem they've solved, to share the solution. So I wanted to see if screen mirroring technology, once again, could be used to facilitate this process. Also, when students are doing these tests, to design development or case study analysis, they're also storing their results in their online document, either their individual document or the collaborative learning document that they're using and working with other students on. So once again, continually storing the information. I do try and build in rewards for students. It might be just a little snack, a little USB pen gift, or it might be a token to get a free cappuccino. So if you do a little competition, I do try and include rewards for the students. So it might be a little certificate or trophy at the end. A little bit more on that later. So what is screen mirroring technology, if you're not really sure about what I'm talking about when I'm using this term? So screen mirroring technology, it is the ability to project the screen of your device to the large display, to the projector, the projected image in the lecture room, tutorial room, seminar room, or it might be a smart TV. So you might be using a PC, you could be using a tablet PC or your laptop, and you, for example, well, in this case, as a student, can project your image, your screen, to the large display, facilitated by the tutor. Now then, back to my little adventure or experiments with active learning and screen mirroring technology. My personal requirements for my classes is I wanted to make sure that students could use their PCs in the computer labs to share their screen. Or if I was, once again, it could be in a PC room, it could be a seminar, tutorial, lecture room. They can use their tablet computers or their laptops or their smartphones to project their research findings as well. So I wanted to make sure that all devices could be projected using this technology. And now the adventure begins. It wasn't quite as easy as I anticipated. My personal experience up till a few months ago with this technology is I was aware that there were dongle sticks, USB sticks you can plug in to a TV, a Chromecast stick, for instance, and then you can stream a video, for example, from your mobile device to your TV in the living room, and it would display. That was the limit of my knowledge, and I thought that would be the solution. I did find out that there are many, many, many more solutions. I'm going to take you on my adventure with this, and it's got lots of ups and downs. So what I discovered is that screen mirroring technology has lots of options. You've got USB stick options, you've got software options, and you've got hardware options. So at this point, I've tried to categorize it to make this adventure, this analysis easier for us to digest. Now, my initial experiments using this technology, once again, I had a screen mirroring USB stick, and I thought this is going to be simple. I'll plug it into the projector, and it'll meet my requirements, no problem. So in this slide, for instance, you can see, it's a little bit bright with the sun coming through, but you should be able to see that the first example is a student projecting their smartphone to the large display, the projector. The second example is a student projecting their laptop, and the third example is a student projecting their PC. Now, all I've done here is I've plugged that USB stick into the projector, and the students can just share their discovery, share their solutions, share their findings. It did work for 85% of devices, which was great. But 85%, in my opinion, is not really good enough for a professional learning environment. So I wanted to find a solution that would cover all devices. It did work for Android, for Apple, Sony, Windows. It did work for PCs that had a wireless USB card in. Not all of them did. So it was quite slow for some devices as well. So once again, I want to try and find a more elegant solution. Now then, so I continued with my research, and I tested a lot more of these USB dongle sticks. But unfortunately, as you can see by the evaluation table, I couldn't find a USB dongle stick solution that would meet my criteria. So I discovered screen mirroring software solutions. Now, the first solution I discovered, Mirroring 360, this was a fantastic product. It allowed all student devices, smartphones, tablets, laptops, PCs. It works over the Wi-Fi. With the USB dongle sticks, the devices are actually transmitting to the USB stick itself. And that can sometimes cause problems with some devices. With the software solutions, because it works over the university's Wi-Fi, as long as students got the app on their device, then it works quite seamlessly. It's a very efficient solution. So Mirroring 360, excellent solution. At this time, I came across a product called Zest. Now, the main benefit with this technology is that it had some fantastic education tools. Not only could you screen mirror, but you could annotate. A student or the lecturer could annotate over what was being displayed, for instance, to highlight key points. Very, very useful. You can take polls to gauge student opinion, once again, to make it more engaging, more interactive. You can share files, so you can chat. There's lots of different, so very useful education features. Unfortunately, with Zest, at this time, or at least when I was testing a couple of months ago, it didn't support full screen mirroring on all mobile devices. So this is the adventure. I was really struggling to find a solution that met my criteria, that allowed all devices to screen mirror. And at this point, I found some solutions that had some very good, very useful educational tools. So now I wanted to find a solution that met my criteria, allowed all student devices to effortlessly project to the large display, and also that had useful educational tools as well built in. Now, so I mentioned Mirroring 360. It met my criteria. Zest and limitations. The reason for the little image there is I really felt like a dog with a bone here. I could have given up. I tried so many different things. And I was getting really quite frustrated at this point, but I was not going to give up. I continued my research, my testing, and what I discovered next was hardware box solutions. I was very happy, as you can tell, if you can see the slide, that I discovered ClassFlow Connect. Now, ClassFlow Connect is a hardware box solution. You plug it in, it works over the university's Wi-Fi, so there's no problems in direct transmission. This product allowed all student devices to project with great ease. It had educational features built in, so students and lecturers could annotate. You could compare the students' screens, for example, on the projector or the smart TV. The problem is, it's got a sister product called ClassFlow Cloud. Now, ClassFlow Cloud is a fantastic product for the primary and secondary sector. If anybody's here from education and you haven't come across this product, I highly recommend it. The problem with ClassFlow Cloud, again, it doesn't support full screen mirroring. ClassFlow Connect, when I was having a demonstration with the company rep, he'd give me a bit of additional information that the future of ClassFlow Connect, the product that I thought solved all of my problems, may not be supported as it currently is in the future. It's highly unlikely that it will be. So once again, I needed to find a solution to my problem. Once again, on the adventure, back in the jungle. So my research continued. I found Kramer Connect, a very good hardware solution once again. Not quite as smooth an operation as ClassFlow Connect, allowed all students' devices to project, included the useful educational tools, but the software was quite buggy at times with some of the tools, but it is a very good product. Finally, the last product that I came across was Sony Vision Exchange, and the tele department in the university is doing some fantastic testing with this technology. Now, Sony Vision Exchange It met all my criteria. It's got the useful educational tools that I wanted, but it's also got a very easy-to-use tutor interface to allow the lecturer, the tutor, the educator to manage the learning environment, to more easily choose what screen is going to be displayed. And as a result, I highly recommend Sony Vision Exchange. I'm looking forward to testing the latest edition, actually. Now, just to sum up with regard to the boxes, I do need to mention one more product, that's Montage, Display Note Montage. When I tested, it was fantastic, very good at meeting my criteria, displaying student devices, didn't necessarily have all the educational tools and features I was looking at. It now does. This technology I would say it's entering its maturity stage. It's still evolving quickly. It's becoming a comprehensive solution that we can now use in the education environment, but it is still evolving. Montage now has these features, educational features built in, and I just would like to say that I'm looking forward to testing this product again. It deserves further consideration. Now then, regards to screen mirroring technology, mirror, mirror on the wall, which is the best technology of them all? Thank you, Kath. Thank you very much. So my leaderboard, Sony Vision Exchange, I think is the current leader of the pack. I think it's the flagship product out there in the market, followed by Display Note Montage, ClassFlow Connect, Kramer Connect, Mirroring 360. Software solution, doesn't have the educational features, but a very good product if you don't necessarily need those extra features. So how to use screen mirroring technology, or how can it be used? Well, as I've indicated, it can be used for students to share their research findings. It can show students' activity results, their creative work, their group practice. They can share their group discussion findings. It can facilitate collaborative problem solving. One student's got a problem, and you can show it onto the projector, and everyone can join in, helping them and supporting them to solve that problem. You can show individual team progress. You can annotate. A student can annotate to show where his problem is or what his solution was, his or her solution was. Students can show their presentations directly from their device. They can use it to screen capture their work, other people's work, or the tutor or the tutor's displaying. And digital whiteboard. Now, I found this very helpful, very useful in the Enterprise Innovation module, where students can brainstorm collaboratively using a digital whiteboard. It's very good, very useful. So the tutor can display multiple student screens to compare students' solutions, for example. We can annotate areas of importance. We can record the screen in video or image format to store on the VLE. We can take polls, we can cast media, video, for example, from our mobile devices as a tutor, and we can allow external participation. That might be a guest speaker, or it might be distance learning student. So the benefits of active learning and SMT, I found with my experiments, it facilitated a more student-centered approach, created a more open, social, democratic learning environment where the students become, if you like, the tutors. You know, I learn from them as well as them learning from me. So it's a collaborative, co-creative learning experience. It enhanced student participation and engagement, enhanced sharing of good practice and knowledge exchange from the students, improve their research referencing skills because they're constantly documenting their research in their online docs as they're going throughout the module, enhances their professional development, their whole brain thinking whilst they're working with others, and holistic multiple intelligence development. So the activity-based learning methods can result in, for the educator, for the tutor, less resource preparation, more time for activity planning outside the learning environment, more time to help and support students inside the learning environment, because as they're doing their activities, you can easily informally go around to see how they're doing, if they understand the concepts and the practical activity. And as a result, you can identify who might be struggling and offer some tailored, customized support for them. And I have found that these active learning methods and SMT have increased assessment outcomes as well. So just one example, I experiment with these in all of my modules, but just one example is the Enterprise Innovation module that I teach. This is a photo of some of our students with the judges and organisers of Startup Weekend Swansea. So they won the event, the year before last, the graduate students won the event, came second and third the year before. So the method seemed to be working well. I get very positive feedback from the students. This is the students winning the Techstars competition. I've had a 12% increase in assessment, in student assessments. I'd like that as an educator. I want all of my students to get 100%. But I'm a very professional person as well. I make sure that I take the assessment criteria very thoroughly. So I'd like that to increase, but at the moment, it's by using these methods, it's increased assessments average by 12%. Very positive feedback from the students compared to when I was using the more passive, traditional lecture approaches to using the more active learning methods. Very positive feedback from the students there. Student engagement is up, student satisfaction, attendance is up, student enjoyment is up, student marks are up, and the tutor workload I found has gone down. I think that's fantastic, because with all the different, for us, I totally agree. I mean, with all the different activities, competing demands that we have on our time, I think anything that can help us to balance that is very positive. Now, a number of years ago, I created a holistic model of human awareness, learning, creativity, or holistic model of multiple intelligences, if you like. And yes, thank you very much. I'll do my best. So what I've found is that the more active learning approaches have been allowing the students to develop, yes, their cognitive intelligence, but their physical intelligence, their creative imagination, social, emotional intelligence, intuitive intelligence. And the reason for that is because I'm allowing them much more creativity. I'm allowing them to tap into their intrinsic interests, their passions, what they care for, what they love and enjoy, and trying to link that to their assessments and to see their passions flourish, to see them really motivated when they find out what their intrinsic interests are. So just trying to link that with the assessments has been very effective. To try and actualize their full potential, really, is going back to Colin's talk earlier, is something as an educator that I really want to try and do. So that's my main aim with experimenting with these methods. So some key points for effective practice then. I found that the flipped-in online inquiry-based learning approach is an effective active learning method that engages students. The participative discussion-based learning methods create a more active, open learning environment where students share their findings, all to benefit from. The screen mirroring technology has enhanced participative discussion-based learning, the share and discuss, number 2, the second activity, by enabling students to share their ideas and research findings. And SMT Tech has also enhanced collaborative learning by allowing students to share their good practice and work together. In conclusion, so flipped-in active learning and SMT technology provide an opportunity to create a more active, collaborative, dynamic learning environment. The active learning methods and SMT technology increased student engagement, student satisfaction, and assessment outcomes in the modules. SMT technology, it is already integrated in our devices, in mobile devices. You might see it on your mobile phone, for example, your tablet, a little screen mirroring icon. It's highly likely to be there if you haven't seen it before, so you might want to have a little look. Until a few months ago, I didn't know mine was there. So it's also becoming inbuilt. So it's becoming inbuilt in new projectors, in smart screen TVs. And it's becoming embedded, therefore, and ever-present within our learning environment, within our educational environment, without perhaps most of us not knowing that it is actually there. So the use of the technology will become seamless quite shortly. Just some final words. Screen mirroring technology, it is a simple tool. It's an easy tool to use that we can all use to enhance the learning environment for ourselves and for our students. The university has been very positive and proactive in testing this technology. I have to mention the TEL department again. They're doing some great work with this. And as a result, this is continuing, the testing and the integration, implementation on the different campuses in the university, and it will soon allow us all to use and benefit from this technology. Thank you very much for listening.